Now, look, I have warned repeatedly we have a battle on our hands. It's called education. I'm sure I'm not alone when I say I'm tired and fed up to the back teeth with headline after headline, promise after promise that government and every other education minister is going to do something about education. The Federal Education Minister, Alan Tudge, is well intentioned, but he doesn't employ a single teacher. Now, today's announcement. We're going to have another review of teacher education. We're told further reform is necessary, and we're going to reverse declining academic outcomes. And we're going to return the nation to the top of global rankings by 2030. Well, I'll tell you something. The way we're going, I hope I'm around by 2030 because the results will be worse than ever. This is meaningless rhetoric. Yet another minister who's going to elevate Australia to the top of the global rankings for student academic achievement. I read this stuff and I shake my head. Today's March 11. We learnt on February 8 that students are not being penalised for spelling, grammar or punctuation in their HSC English exams. They're, quote, being primarily assessed on their understanding of the books they've studied. How the hell can you study anything if you can't spell and you know nothing about grammar? There's a headline every other day about education, nothing happens. We were told last month that the New South Wales government had dumped a proposal, cop this, for untimed syllabuses. That is, let students progress at their own pace. Education today increasingly equals madness. And then more jargon. We're going to give teachers more flexibility to help students. Last month, another headline. There's going to be a jobs focus in the school curriculum to include subjects like real estate, robotics and cyber security. Then another headline last month. In a bid to lift academic results, the New South Wales government will ask principals and teachers at the state's best performing schools to chip in and help the worst performing schools. And the minister said, with the stern face of a school mistress, there will be more accountability from schools, principals and teachers. Well, as they say, pull the other leg, it plays Nat King Cole. Nonetheless, today, the Federal Education Minister has unveiled his goal, just like Kevin Rudd did and Julia Gillard announced an education revolution in 2007, 14 years ago, minister after minister. The reality is, we're 1.5 years behind Singaporean students when it comes to reading and science, 3 years behind on maths. We used to be 4th in the world in reading, we're now 16th. We used to be 8th in science, we're now 17th. We used to be 11th in maths, we're now 29th. And the Federal Education Minister, Alan Tudge, I've no doubt he's genuine, says he's going to reverse the decline. I'm sorry, he can't. All he provides is money. How much? Well, the poor old taxpayer stumps up more than $100 billion a year on education. 46 billion from the Commonwealth, 39 billion from the states, and private school parents contribute 25 billion. We get little in return. And unsurprisingly, the Federal Minister says today, this is a formidable challenge. May I respectfully suggest you'll get nowhere unless you decide what the goal is. Let's face reality. Our kids can't punctuate, they can't spell. They know little about geography and history. They've never heard of Burke and Wills. They can go through a whole secondary school experience, 6 years, and never read an English novel or recite a verse of poetry. Doing well at school and in education, if you want your child to be well educated, is no different from being good at cricket, ballet dancing, swimming, or preparing dinner. It's hard work. Any education system without discipline, content, or hard work is not education. This problem won't be solved by money. The problem is simple. What we are offering in the classroom is by and large rubbish and bears no relationship to good education. If a child can't answer automatically what 5 times 8 is, if a child can't identify a word because a child's never been taught phonics, the child's not educated. And if you think any of this can happen without rote learning, spelling bees, learning your tables, knowing that Melbourne's on the Yarra River, knowing why Adelaide is called Adelaide, if you know none of that, you are ill prepared for the world beyond the classroom. Can you believe that La Trobe University recently offered a short course in teaching phonics, the tried and tested method of teaching young children to read? 1,000 teachers signed up because in their education they weren't taught properly in the first place. One other thing. You may tell me a 12-year-old that can write properly. They've never heard of cursive writing. They print. These are basics. We are wasting money worshipping false education gods. Get back to a bit of chalk and talk. You don't need carpets on the floor or fancy learning centres. If a teacher has knowledge and energy and passion to transmit knowledge to teach young people their geography and history, how to spell, how to add up, how to write. And if this is done with passion and commitment, then you can teach 60 kids on a hot tin roof. Money won't solve anything. All the talk today is more empty rhetoric. As John Anderson, Mark Latham and I have been saying, we need massive change in what passes for education. The bad news is, I'm not sure we'll get it. We will continue to betray our young people by pretending education is about soft options. What do you think? Tell me the truth. I need your views. Alan at skynews.com.au, the text line 0414 000 848, and you can always listen live on the iHeart Radio app.